of the famous Maui Purdy family. And George will talk about the operation at Lanai Airport, probably the first in the country of a UAS operation at an airport supporting disaster operations.
Hello, everybody. Aloha. Let's wake up.
Aloha.
Wasn't the Moonshot Kids great? I mean, I'm inspired. This is what I've been working hard the last 2 years. I'm George Purdy IV. I was raised on Maui, Ulupalakua. My grandfather is the famous cowboy, so I'm the great-great-grandson. So I do have a name that I don't throw around lightly, and I'm not going to screw it up. So that's what I bring to the table. That's my mana. So, quick overshot. How I got into this was the plane crash on Lanai 2 years ago. So I'd like to take this moment right now to just bow your heads, take a moment in silence, and this is why we are doing what we are doing today. Okay? 3 people passed, but we did save 3 lives. Aloha, thank you. So on that night, I actually had a drone, so I've been playing with it. Plane went down at night, 9:27, Lanai, darkest night. I sat in my truck contemplating that I had a drone, should I fly it? But at this time, I'm an airport fireman also, so I know the rules. So I had to make a sound judgment not to use it. So we just did what we were trained normally without it, but it stuck in my head. 2 years later, I made a promise to myself that night, I will get this drone to fly at an airport for an emergency. To me, that's the hardest airspace. I followed all the rules with no problems. And that's what FAA wants. That's what FAA has taught me. So it's easy. But it's easy for me to do it because it's kind of my job. But here I am as a regular fireman who accomplished a lot in 2 years. So it's possible. So we're here, we're done. I answered all your questions on being able to do it in an emergency sense. We take the same procedures and we pass it on to industry, to community members, all the way down to the kindergarten. So that we now raising kids from kindergarten on up with that mentality. We teach them, just like hunter safety in Hawaii. Recently released the boater safety course we have to take. One of my ideas to be a role model to the world in other states is a UAS air safety card. Documenting all what the FAA says. You go online, you sign, 10 years old, you get a card, signed by a parent. Simple. Parent is responsible. I'm throwing responsibility back on the parents. They're the ones who buy the drones. It's not bad people. I mean, not good people that are ruining it, it's bad people that are uneducated. For me, the last 2 years is education. 2 years I've been knocking on doors, community members. Lanai community has taught me a lot. That community is a drone-friendly community. We've got seniors who cannot walk out into the hunting areas. They bought a drone, asked me, George, hey, can you come help me fly? He takes me to his hunting spot. He flies a drone. Look at all his aina. That to me was where what we're doing today meant more than money. So in drones itself, the knowledge. All these people who come in to bring in knowledge. But Hawaii, if we take this knowledge, and now it becomes our mana, money will come. Money is fate, but people will come because we hold the knowledge. And in the drone, take away the drone, this is what's left. This micro SD card, the information that it captures, this is now new mana for Hawaii. So I'm going to go through my slide and the presentation on what we did on Lanai and how we did it. Next. So what are our main objectives? Exploring the UAS support of an emergency services at an airport and do it safely. So we followed the 333 rules, 107. It was very simple, but we had to build flight time in our progress of building the section 333. We didn't just go automatically get this and we went to the airport. It took 2 years from the time we started. We started off in real estate. We climbed the ladder and accomplished jumped every hoop that was thrown at us. We always conversated with FAA, asking what about this, because the rules were vague. But dealing with FAA in inspections, they taught me how to word things correctly, right? Hank? Yeah. So that's what made me successful in doing this. Next. Outcome, 12 months of planning. An exemption, that's our number and our code. Well, at night, we can fly at an airport. I flew right next to the runway. We were talking with the airplane. And at one point, the airplane actually flew around just to look at the drone because he actually saw the exercise happen. At the end of it, safe and successful operation. It's simple. It doesn't take a lot of words. This is how a fireman thinks. This is easy. This is easy, something we can process. And that's the way legislatures, community members, it's not that bad. But like I said, this now is protocol that we can use tomorrow. It's done. Government, I got the steps to do it. Safety. Now we need to implement it, train and practice. Next. So project description, evaluate the capability of the collected data, efficient decision making by responders. So we have a video out there, you can actually see certain things happening. So my boss is on another island. Our fire station in the past was one man, and we were responsible for 30 passengers. Our mutual aid crew, 6 firemen from Maui County, 1 ambulance, and maybe 3 cops. That's it. So that fire station taught me that when I get that phone call, as soon as I hang up, I'm making a phone call to help me to do a rescue operation. That was our fire plan. Unusual, but it works. We save lives. Educating government and public on the use of UAS and FAA safety management system. Mike and I, Drone Services Hawaii, we went door to door, talking to everybody for 2 years, educating them. We built a pipeline already 2 years ago. We're into STEM schools. With Women in Technology on Maui actually helped me start a drone program at Lanai School. The first in the state before anybody thought about it. Now we're rolling it out to 27 schools. Greater understanding of what's going on in a rescue or recovery space. How we will use the UAS to help a situation. That's still to be explored. That's the best part. We just started. It's going to evolve. It's going to change. Procedures are going to change, but we cannot bog it down. But the guide is here. Right here. This is mana. It's done. Now how do we take today and move on tomorrow? It's here. Right here. That's it. Let's go forward. Because if you guys are going to start now without this, you're going to take another 2 to 3 years. I can guarantee you that. It ain't easy. So I'm here. I'm a local boy, and we're going to do good things. Next. September 16th, I called in. I tested the system. I called in basically an emergency note. They knew I was coming, but they didn't know when. And it went through smooth. Communications with FAA is the top rule. Any document, as long as you communicate and they know where you are, that's what they care about. But that's what we need to be educated as operators to communicate. Hawaii, what is good with us, we communicate with each other. We talk. We don't have too many hard feelings in most places. Communities love each other on a whole. Our project pilot, Brandon Sternum, he's a Maui Fire Department helicopter pilot. Or firefighter, but a helicopter pilot on the side. Next. Visual observer, Gary Gunter, he's also a helicopter pilot. And was myself, George. But I designed the plan. So I hired these 2 guys to get, it was my little focus group because it was the first time being at an airfield with a drone. A lot of issues came up, a lot of ideas came up that you won't know unless you actually step foot on that airport and figure out what is the best way to do it. At one point, you know, we're adjacent to the runway, kind of far. The drone would have been in front of us and the runway. So we talked amongst ourselves, should we be in this position? If anything, we should protect that runway as a UAS operator. So we repositioned ourselves where now the runway's at our back. And we kept the drone away from the runway. So that was, to me, a major data collection that we provide FAA with, that when you're out at an airport, these are certain ways you position yourself. One, we ran into internet interference. So we could not do a live transmission to Maui. So we came up with plan B, take a picture and email it, because the internet speed was slow. Plan C would be, if we couldn't do that, I'll pull out the chip, give it to the operations commander, he'll actually go back to the station and email whatever he needs to. 3 things that we found that we could get information off that island less than 20 minutes. Valuable. Because our main goal of resources and professionals that are off island need to be mobilized to get to Lanai to help us finish with the rescue operation. Next. So these are the task summaries. Call in place, a NOTAM call, pre-flight checks, find the best position to operate to prevent UAs from reaching runway, check for any interference with airport systems, air traffic radio communicate, capture video, picture, transmit to incident commander on or off island, and then our hot wash at the end. But this is it. It's that simple. As long as you got the training prior, that's in here. And this is what Drone Services Hawaii is teaching all 107 workers that needs help. We are there to help them. The more we help and share, we will eliminate all the problems that we see today, but it's going to take time. The more people get educated, the more professionals that leave with the 107, with the knowledge how to use it, how to expand business on their own, it'll be a greater place for the state of Hawaii. Anything else? So Project RISK, this phase, proper training programs. Proper training programs will increase UAS usability. Deciding to use UAS based on FAA's 3Ds, dangerous, dirty, dumb. Any of those 3 categories, that's when you pick to use a UAS. UAS for me, watching the mainland, trying to figure out to fly in cities and whatnot, that was the dumbest idea ever. These drones belong in rural places like Lanai, the rural divisions in any island. That's where it makes sense. Any place, low infrastructure. Simple. Until we get better at it, technology get better at it, then you can fly in the city and go deliver your pizza. But no need. So next phase, mutual aid training with UAS. I'm pushing for airport fire departments to be the lead program providers. The reason why is we deal with airport space as an airport fire. We understand. This is also a resource for mutual aid folks to come to the airport and share knowledge, share money. That way, we build that working relationship. We don't see each other when the disaster happens and we got drones flying around and we're crashing. We unify a single chain of command that we all learn the same. And that same knowledge passed on to all the 107s, 333 operators, all the way to kindergarten. That way we create a society that's different, unified, in line. Community education programs to improve UAS image. This is where Isla Young comes into play. Please stand up, Isla. This lady is awesome. We've already laid the pipeline for kindergarten to a company one day like mine. They're coming. So now we're looking for funding. This phase is creating U.S. public safety programs. That's where the government comes in. Come see us. We have the questions. We have the answers. You know, we've got current data that we can share from current FAA, and we post it out there. Now we got tourists going to come. You know, they're going to be having them flying. How do we reach them to them? So we got to advertise what we want them to do. Next phase. Yeah, I don't know if you can play it. It's a little short.
I think it's playing outside, George. We've got to let it play outside.
Next. So next step, expanding broader public safety domain. Focus on UAS enhancing knowledge in the rescue recovery space. Whole community approach. And that's what we've done on Lanai. I built a community to back me up. Tantalizing thoughts, virtual reality, enhancement of a rescue recovery space. That's a good name. Next thing I want to throw out there is a UAS test site. Virtual reality, no. Hawaii people would like to touch things. So I would like to throw my hat in that ring, and I want that UAS test site on the island of Lanai in a real environment that we can really test this equipment. Lanai is a one economy island. A UAS test site will bring balance, but it's also a perfect airspace. It's Class G. The new test sites are all Class G. I can work with Nevada. And this announcement of, private companies leading the way, government matching funds, we're here. I got everything ready up that we can do it. And I can run it safely. I can maintain our goals of educating our public, our kids. That I cannot let go. So I don't trust anybody out there who sees the dream that I have. So give me the opportunity to get us there. And once that is infectious, it'll happen on its own. That's all I got. Thank you. Kulea Gold, perfect example. The young UAV company. We mentor, they listen, check them out. That's the future right there. That's who we help. And that's the future of our kids in school. Sorry about that, brother. Okay, next.
Thank you very much, George. An incredible